In this video, I'm going to talk about some things to consider in a discussion about race. If we're going to learn about race, it helps to have some sort of a definition. So what is race? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, race refers to a category of humankind that shares certain distinctive physical traits. And the Oxford English Dictionary says that it's each of the major divisions of living creatures. For example, the human race. That's going to become important as you look at the video on race, because one of the key questions is there really such a thing? Very often when we look at people, we make our own judgments about what race they may be, depending upon eyes, hair, noses, lips, and skin color. But we may or may not be right. There are 4 broad categories that people fall into. These are Caucasian, Negro, Mongolian, and American Indian. Although, of course, there are a lot of genetic variations as people intermarry. This was thought to be very important because there was a big movement in the United States earlier in history towards classifying people based on these characteristics. The eugenics movement, which started in the mid-1800s, was a scientific movement that believed and pursued the idea that certain traits are inherited and therefore can be bred out, with a connected idea that some races are better than others. So, for example, slavery was justified on the belief that the white race was inherently better than the Negro race, and that the Negro race was suited towards doing hard work and hard labor. Stamping out undesirable character traits was a mark of the eugenics movement, and there were several states in the United States that had laws for forced sterilization of people whom they felt would breed children that were going to be a problem for the state. The eugenics movement was picked up, unfortunately, in another country with disastrous results. Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany firmly believed in using eugenics to create a master race and conducted mass killings of others, most particularly Jews, to eliminate those classes and races that he felt were inferior. Today, the eugenics movement has really disappeared, but we have a long way to go in terms of race relations. People from different races have different perceptions about what is going on and how things are happening. And we need to have some perspective to try to figure things out and move forward. So why take time and study history? History can give us some perspective on how to move forward because it shows us what was done and how things were managed in a different time, even though the problems and situations were similar. During Reconstruction, the United States had just come out of the Civil War, and there was a very big question about the value of African American people and how they were to be treated and how they were to live. And those kinds of decisions about who is important, what race is valuable, what kinds of things we need to do with people influence the current situation and how we look at race relations today. Or certainly they can influence how we look at race relations today. So we look at history to get some information, to get some insight that we can use to look forward and change the way that we do things in the present time. Thanks for staying with the video all the way to this point. And now I'm going to give you a tip that's going to help you when you take your quiz. One of the questions is going to ask you what image is at the end of this video. And as you can see, the image is one of flowers. So make sure you remember that answer. Good luck on your quiz and continue learning.